The last couple of minutes looking at communion and staying with the idea of eating and the intake of things. We're going to look at the other aspect of eating inside of a text, and that is the act of vampirism. And as we discussed in the notes, or as you read in the notes, it spoke of how it is when a character takes or grows from hurting or taking from someone else. And these characters are not always the kind with the fangs that in the dark and they want to bite your neck. It's also a lot of times characters who simply are selfish or like to use or manipulate other people. And they are very prevalent inside of texts. So we wanted to look for an example of that in the literature that you would recognize. So let's look at Beauty and the Beast again, because there is a vampire character in that story. And what I'm looking for in essence is a character who grows or takes their strength by hurting or using other people. And a lot of times when you're looking for a vampire character, a lot of times they're going to be the antagonist, or they're going to have an antagonistic effect on the story. And Beauty and the Beast is no different from that. If I'm looking for a vampire character, I'm looking for someone, like I said, who is manipulative, who uses others, and I'm going to go straight to Gaston, who is the antagonist of the story. Gaston is in love with Belle. He wants her, but she doesn't want him back. And instead of doing the thing that a true loving person would do and try to earn her love, he decides instead to use other people to get to Belle. He also has that same effect with LeFou, who is his, I guess you could call him his sidekick, and that is he uses LeFou. He beats up on LeFou and bullies LeFou and doesn't give LeFou any credit for ideas. And as LeFou sinks lower and lower, you see Gaston become more and more powerful or more strong. And at first you just see him using LeFou, but then we realize, no, he's going to use other people as well. When he wants Belle, what's he going to do? He decides to attempt to have her father committed. I mean, that makes perfect sense for him. I mean, to make her my wife, which doesn't want to be. But he uses other people to get what he wants. And that makes Gaston an excellent example of a vampire. It's nothing more difficult than that. So my response would be Gaston is an example of vampirism in the story or in the movie. Beauty and the Beast. Actually, we're going to move this over here. There we go. Ooh, no. Because he uses others in an attempt to gain what he wants. And if I'm looking for an example, I would just say, I mean, once again, my example in this is Gaston uses and abuses LeFou. And uses Maurice in order to attempt to force Belle into a marriage. And that's the simple truth. You're just looking for a character that uses other people. And like I said, they generally end up being the antagonist, but that is not always the case. But this is definitely an example. Gaston would be your vampire. And now you're going to look at the story of Kitty and Mac and see if you can find a vampire character in that.